Hello ladies and gents, and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. In this episode of Cycling Insider, let's talk about the Trek Domane SL6 Disc, and this is the Trek Domane for the 2020 season. So Trek Domane is a bike which is all about comfort and long days in the saddle. You can think about Trek Domane as a Mercedes S-Class or a Rolls-Royce Phantom of the car world. So everything is designed to be comfortable as possible and also for you to spend long hours in the saddle. Although Trek will say that Trek Domane ticks all the boxes, of course, for comfort and also being, light and stiff, this is never gonna happen. If you want, light and stiff, you have to go to the Trek Emonda. So keep in mind that Trek Domane, the key word for that bike is definitely comfort. So when I look at the Trek Domane SL6 Disc, the price in US, asking price in US is $3,800 US, or for all the people in the UK across the pond, it's about 3,200 British pounds. As always, this is just the asking price, and in my opinion, if you are negotiating nicely with your Trek bike dealers, I'm almost certain that you can get about 10 to 15% discount on this bike. So I would say you should be offering something about, if we are speaking about UK, asking price 3,200, let's say you get about 350 pounds discount, or even a bit more, 400 pounds discount, so you should be offering something like 2,800 British pounds for this bike. And in the US, since the asking price is 3,800, let's say you get a discount of about $400 US, so you should be offering something about 3,300, 3,400 US dollars. And on that price range, I think it's one of those bikes which is very attractive. Definitely not the cheap bike. Make no mistakes here. But about 3,300, 3,400 US dollars really buys you a very interesting bike. So, without further ado, let's dive in and let's see what do you get for this amount of money from Trek Domane SL6 Disc. So the paint scheme you can get, Trek offers 3 paint schemes. You have this, in my opinion, boring gloss black on black. I would personally just skip it, and I would move on to the more nicer paint schemes from Trek, which is this radioactive red and black, which is a pretty classic color combination, black and red. And also they are offering this kind of pure white with gold, which also looks very attractive. Personally, I would just go with the radioactive red and black. It just looks stunning. But speaking more about the tech spec, let's see what you got on Trek Domane SL6 Disc. I need to kick off with the Trek's ISO speed decoupler and the ISO speed on the front and back, basically. So this is the Trek's proprietary technology. Firstly, they developed it for the back of the bike, which basically meant that the seat tube is kind of separated from the rest of the bike frame, so it has a little bit of movement. And then they moved this same concept to the front of the bike with their front ISO speed decoupler. I would also leave a link in the video description where Trek goes a bit more into the details of explaining exactly how it works, so you can check that. But long story short, everybody who you probably asked if they had a chance to ride Trek Domane, or you read it in certain bike reviews, everybody swears that it definitely works. The only question is, in my opinion, when it comes to maintenance of these both back and front decouplers. How does it work? How much does it cost? And basically, how often do you need to do the maintenance? Because there's lots of bearings inside and movable parts. So this thing I don't know, but it's good to check with your local Trek dealer what about the maintenance and the cost of the maintenance. So let's move on to the frame of the bike. So we have here a 500 series OCLV carbon fiber frame. So this is not top of the line that Trek can do. You have there 700 OCLV carbon fiber frames. But this carbon fiber frame and the carbon fiber fork that's on this bike come with a lifetime Trek warranty, so absolutely you have no worries about this. This frame, carbon fiber frame, also has a interesting internal storage, so you can store some maybe little parts to fix your tires on the road or something like that. And also the fork comes with tapered carbon steer. So both frame and fork are ready for the 12mm through axles. So on the back you have 142 by 12mm, and on the front, of course, 12mm by 100mm through axle. So carbon fiber frame and fork, OCLV 500 series with the SLR carbon fiber fork. Wheel set on this bike is the Trek's in-house production, so that's the Trek Bontrager Paradigm wheel set, and this is the 25mm rim width, and the tires on this wheel set are again the Bontrager's R2 tires, in-house production, and this is the 32C tire. So you immediately see that Trek has included a very wide tire, but it's brilliant in my opinion, because this is what this bike is all about. It's all about the comfort, so yes, it should come with a 32C tire, so I salute you Trek with this choice. When we move to the drivetrain, so the shifters, front mech and the rear mech are all Shimano Ultegra mechanical group sets. So we have Shimano Ultegra 8000 series, I will call it, because you got Shimano Ultegra R8000 as a front and rear mech and R8020 as the shifters. So this is 11-speed group set, and the cranks on the bike are also Shimano Ultegra crankset R8000, and this time it's a 50-34 crankset, which is a compact crankset, which is paired with the Shimano Ultegra cassette, 11-speed Shimano Ultegra cassette 1134. So you see the combination of the cassette 1134 with the crankset 5034, so it's the absolute low gearing you can get on road bikes these days, so you can definitely go to any steep mountain that you can imagine. Also, I like that Trek didn't cut corners with the chain, which is again Shimano Ultegra chain, 11 speed, so you can usually notice that sometimes bike manufacturers cut corners on the cassette and the chain, but this time Trek has included Shimano Ultegra, both cassette and the chain. Bottom bracket on this bike, which is interesting, is a threaded bottom bracket. This is a Praxis threaded bottom bracket. I personally love threaded bottom brackets. They are very durable, easy to maintain. I wish they had a Shimano threaded bottom bracket, but okay, it is what it is. Once when you trash this one, you can see if you can replace it with a Shimano threaded bottom bracket. Moving on to other components of the bike, so you got a saddle, which is again from Bontrager in-house production, but as I always say, don't worry too much about the saddle. This is easy to replace if you just don't like it. Seat post, we got a carbon fiber seat post. I mean, to be precise, carbon fiber seat mast. So it's a bit of different design from Trek, where you literally attach your seat with this seat mast onto the seat post. But it's nice that it's a carbon fiber one, so it's definitely going to soak up some of the smaller road bumps. Handlebar, again from Bontrager, alloy handlebars. Nothing special I need to add here. The same goes with the stem. Again, the Bontrager's Pro Series. Nothing special. Again, later in your kind of bike riding, you can easily replace these components with maybe some kind of carbon fiber components if you really want. And I need to mention the braking system on this bike. So we have a Shimano Ultegra hydraulic disc brakes. On their tech spec, Trek didn't include details about the hydraulic disc brake, so I hope it's 160mm rotors and they didn't cut the corners with those stupid 140mm rotors. Total bike weight, so this is the size 56, is 9.2 9.22 kilograms, so definitely not light bike, but you gotta take into account that this is, as I said, all about comfort in your ride and long days in the saddle. And since you have this ISO-speed decoupler front and back, it definitely adds a lot of weight to the bike. So 9.22 kilograms, size 56. Somebody might call it a bit hefty bike, but I think it's totally fine, because if you are aiming for the long days in the saddle, you are not so concerned with the bike weight. So, all in all, I think it's a very interesting offering from Trek. Of course, not for the asking price of $3,800. I would like to see it for something about $3,300, $3,200. If you can negotiate this price, it's absolutely a perfect price. For all the people in the UK, as I said, if you can drop the price to something about 2,800 British pounds, it would be absolutely perfect. So just as a little summary, we have a Trek's carbon fiber frame and fork. So we have an OCLV 500 carbon fiber frame. Fork is the Trek's Domane SLR carbon fiber, so you have a lifetime warranty on the frame and fork. You have the full Shimano Ultegra mechanical group set, so shifters, front mech, rear mech. You also have the Shimano Ultegra chain and the cassette and the crank set, so absolutely no cutting corners. The braking system is again Shimano Ultegra hydraulic disc brakes, top-notch disc brakes with hopefully 160mm rotors. And then you have this secret sauce of Trek Domane, which is the ISO-speed decoupler on the back of the bike and on the front of the bike. A little, I would call it almost like a suspension system, which will definitely make your ride super smooth. And as I said, think about it as the Mercedes S-Class of the bike world. So I think this is gonna be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, please do subscribe and click that little bell icon, and I will see you soon in the next episode. Pura Vida!